The upper domes of Verelion Prime shimmered like liquid crystal, each one reflecting the violet suns that pulsed across the horizon. Beneath them, among the floating gardens and silver-spined towers, lived a young Verelion mother named Serene Talvain, and her daughter Lyra. Lyra was born different. Among the Verelions, every child developed their luminous ocular bands, thin rings of biolight across the eyes, within weeks of birth. They allowed the Verelions to see in every direction at once, perceiving not just color and shape but emotional radiance, the subtle energy fields of life. Sight for the Verelions was almost a sixth sense. But Lyra's eyes never lit. Her ocular bands remained dark, still, empty. No glow, no warmth, no life. Some whispered she was cursed. Others said she was broken. A few cold-hearted ones suggested Serene should send the child to the quiet halls, the place where disabled Verelions were kept in peaceful seclusion. But Serene refused. She raised Lyra alone. After her mate vanished during an off-world mission, she walked her daughter through gardens, guided her hands across warm crystal leaves, told her stories of their ancestors. She loved the girl fiercely, even though Lyra stumbled, tripped, or bumped into shimmering pillars daily. Serene believed her daughter was blind, until the day the human arrived. Humans were rare on Verelion Prime. They found the air too thin, the gravity too soft, the energy fields too bright. But trading agreements were tightening across the star systems, and the Verelions needed someone who understood manual mechanical engineering, something their society had evolved past. So they brought in a human consultant, Caleb Wren, a ship mechanic from Earth with calloused hands, oil-stained clothes, and a quiet way of observing the world. Caleb had never seen anything like Verelion Prime. He marveled at the floating markets, the translucent walkways, the creatures that flew without wings. But what struck him most was the loneliness in Serene's eyes when she guided her small daughter across the plaza, trying to shield her from curious stares. Caleb first met them when Serene's crystalline food basket slipped and shattered near the plaza cafe. Lyra startled at the sound and curled into herself, trembling. Caleb knelt beside her gently. "Hey, sweetheart. It's okay. No one's hurt." Lyra didn't turn toward him. She didn't react at all. "Sorry," Serene murmured, collecting shards. "She can't see you." Caleb glanced up, puzzled. "Can't see?" But she looked right at me. Serene stiffened. She turned her head. "That's instinct. She doesn't see anything." Caleb didn't argue. But something in the child's flinch, too precise, too responsive, stuck with him. And soon he would learn the truth. The discovery. Caleb often visited the plaza during his lunch break. He liked the atmosphere, softer than the shipyards, filled with drifting music tones. Each time he saw Serene and Lyra sitting quietly under the glow trees. Lyra rarely spoke. When she did, it was soft, almost whispered. One afternoon, Caleb brought a bag of crunchy earth snacks. When he sat across from Lyra, one of the snacks slipped from the bag and bounced near her foot. Her head snapped exactly toward the sound. Not vaguely, precisely. Caleb frowned. He dropped another snack at a different angle. Her head turned again, sharply accurate. Caleb leaned closer. "Lyra, can you see those?" Serene tensed. Please don't confuse her. But she tracked it. That wasn't random. She reacts to sound, Serene insisted. Her other senses compensate. Caleb shook his head slowly. No kid reacts that precisely without directional vision. Serene looked hurt, torn between hope and fear. She has no ocular glow. No Verelion has ever had sight without them. Caleb thought for a moment, then removed a small welding torch from his belt. "Can I try something? Just trust me." Before Serene could refuse, Caleb ignited the torch, not bright, just a faint controlled blue flame, and moved it slowly from one side of Lyra's field of view to the other. Lyra's pupils followed the flame smoothly, carefully, unmistakably. Serene gasped. "Lyra? Sweetheart? You can see." Lyra blinked, confused. I see lights sometimes. Shapes. But I thought they were dreams." Serene broke. Tears glimmered along her cheeks. Verelions didn't cry often, but the emotion overwhelmed her. "I never knew. I never realized. You can see, you really can see." Caleb exhaled. "She's not blind, Serene. She just sees differently." Word spread quickly. Verelion scientists became intrigued. and soon Lyra was taken for testing. What they discovered shocked everyone. Lyra wasn't visually impaired at all. She possessed a new form of vision. Instead of perceiving the emotional radiance most Varelians saw, Lyra saw physical motion with extreme clarity. She could track the tiniest vibration, the faintest shift in air pressure. Her sight wasn't based on biolight sense. It was something entirely unique. A mutation, a divergence, or perhaps an evolution. But society didn't welcome the idea. Some Varelians murmured that she was too different. Others feared her vision was unnatural. A few suggested Caleb's presence had somehow contaminated her senses. Xenophobic nonsense that stung Serene deeply. Still, Serene tried to protect her child. She stood firm in the council hearings. She defended Lyra from judgment. But she couldn't protect her from everything. Because soon an accident happened. Lyra was walking with a group of children during a cultural parade. One of the energy lanterns malfunctioned and exploded, sending shards scattering. Everyone ducked except Lyra. She stood perfectly still, watching each shard as if suspended in time. Her vision tracked them so precisely that she moved only at the last possible moment, stepping aside with unnerving accuracy. But one child was frozen in fear. Lyra lunged, grabbed them and pulled them aside just in time. The crowd gasped. Some praised her heroism. Others whispered that no child should be able to move like that. That she was unnatural. That she was dangerous. The incident accelerated fears. Within days, a council summons arrived at Serene's home. They proposed placing Lyra under protective observation, essentially a government-controlled environment where she would be monitored and studied. Serene's hands shook. No, I won't let them take her. But Varelian law was strict. If a child posed potential risk to society, the council held final authority. Unless someone could prove the child wasn't a danger. Someone who understood mechanics, motion, engineering. Someone who could interpret her abilities through a different lens. Someone like Caleb. The truth of her vision. Caleb learned about the summons when Serene visited him at the shipyard, trembling. They want to take her, she whispered. They say she needs supervision. But they don't understand her. You saw it first. You can help me prove she's not a threat. Caleb didn't hesitate. Whatever you need. I'm in. They brought Lyra to the main engineering deck. An empty space filled with holographic schematics and mechanical tools. Caleb set up a simple test. He suspended dozens of metallic balls in the air using low-gravity stabilizers. When activated, the balls were released and bounced through the air in unpredictable arcs. No Varelian can track all of them at once, Serene murmured nervously. Caleb smiled. Let's see what Lyra can do. He activated the test. The balls scattered, ricocheting in every direction. Lyra's eyes widened, but not in fear. In delight. She stepped into the field, spinning lightly, her fingers dancing through the air. She tapped one ball mid-flight, then another, redirecting them gently so none collided. She moved like she was playing with drifting stars. Caleb whispered, amazed. She's seeing motion vectors. Serene blinked. Motion what? She's not seeing like Varelians. She sees dynamic pathways, trajectories, the future positions of moving objects. Caleb turned to her. Serene, your daughter isn't disabled. She's gifted in a way none of us understand. The council was invited to witness the demonstration. Lyra performed flawlessly, not only avoiding collisions, but orchestrating the moving balls like a conductor shaping a symphony. The counselors murmured among themselves. Some were stunned. A few were impressed. But one counselor, Vethier, scowled. This ability could be dangerous. If she can predict movement so clearly, she could manipulate systems beyond her control. She may become a threat. Caleb stepped forward. With all due respect, counselor, anything powerful can be dangerous if misunderstood. What matters is how she's guided. And she has a mother who loves her and a community who can support her. Serene nodded fiercely. My daughter will not be locked away for being different. The council deliberated for days. In the end, they ruled conditionally. Lyra would remain with her mother. But she must attend specialized motion sense training and undergo periodic check-ins. It wasn't perfect, but it was freedom. And from that moment, Serene's gratitude toward Caleb deepened into something else. Something unspoken, warm and quietly growing. Ending. the true purpose of her gift. Months passed. Lyra thrived. She trained under specialists, learned how to control her abilities, and even helped engineers design safer flight paths for small transport drones. But the real test came unexpectedly. A gravitational tremor struck Varelian Prime, a rare cosmic event caused by unstable tides from the twin suns. Buildings shook. Platforms wavered. Airships lost stabilization. One of the floating gardens snapped from its anchor lines and began to drift dangerously toward a crowded marketplace. Caleb was there. So was Serene. Panic erupted as the enormous structure descended. But Lyra stepped forward. "I can see where it's falling," she whispered. "I can see how to stop it." Caleb knelt. "Tell us." She pointed rapidly. "The anchor lines on the left won't hold. But the stabilizer beams underneath, they're still intact. If we trigger the emergency clamps at the right moment, the garden will tilt, not fall." Caleb grabbed a communicator. "You heard her. Trigger stabilizers on my mark." Engineers scrambled. Caleb counted down with Lyra, matching her timing. "Now." The clamps fired. The garden lurched, but instead of crashing, it rotated safely, settling gently against an empty platform. No lives lost. No injuries. Just stunned silence. Then cheers. The Varelians finally saw Lyra for who she truly was. Not a defective child, not a danger, but someone whose abilities could protect their world. Serene hugged her daughter tightly. "I always thought you couldn't see," she whispered. "But you saw more than any of us ever did." Caleb stood beside them, pride shining in his eyes. Serene looked at him softly. "You were the first to believe in her." Caleb smiled. "Sometimes it takes an outsider to see what's right in front of you." Lyra tugged their hands together. "You both helped me. You both see me." Serene's cheeks warmed with gentle color. Caleb's hand remained in hers longer than necessary. And for the first time, Serene imagined a future, not just for Lyra but for all three of them. A human mechanic, a Varelian mother, and a child whose eyes held a new way of seeing the universe. Epilogue. A different kind of sight. Years later, Lyra would become one of the leading navigators in the galaxy, able to chart routes through unstable star clusters with unmatched precision. But none of her achievements meant as much to her as the moment she first realized. She wasn't broken. She wasn't blind. She simply saw differently. And it all began the day a gentle human father figure knelt beside her and noticed the truth the world had missed.